What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the Real House of Potomac Season 7 finale. Let's get into Ashley. So Ashley's out to lunch with her oldest son, Dean, and while she's out, she is talking to her mom. She's FaceTiming her mom, and she tells she tells Dean that she got the house that she put in the bid for, and she calls her mom, or her mom calls her, and they talk about the home, and she says that the mortgage is going to be $13,000 per month. Both her and Michael bought the house or something. I don't know how the house was bought because they keep talking about this LLC and the name of the LLC, but then she says that the house is going to be titled in her name, but the mortgage is $13,000 per month. Ashley, why? Why do you need a $13,000 per month home for you and your two little boys? Like, it didn't make any sense. That's a lot of money. And other than the housewife, I don't know how else she's making an income. Maybe she's expecting a lot of money from her divorce settlement, but word on the curb from the previews of the reunion, it seems like she's not going to get much from her divorce. So I don't know what's going on with Ashley. Moving on to Karen. So Mia calls Karen and gives Karen the lowdown of what happened at the strip club and all the things that were said about her by Charisse, saying that Karen was out there laying it low, spreading it wide, that she was out there hooking up with people in dirty bar bathrooms. I mean, just the most. Like, she was getting down with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So, and then Karen completely flipped the script on Mia. You know, Mia thought that she was going to bring this tea to Karen, and Karen was going to get all, in a all upset in a tizzy with Charisse, but instead Karen turned it back on Mia and said, okay, so while all of my enemies were talking about me, what the hell were you saying? Were you defending me? And Mia had nothing to say because she wasn't, because she was a contributor, not a defender. Moving on from there, Mia's at the doctor's office. So all of the hullabaloo about Mia's health, her health scare, the possibility of her dying from cancer, all of it, not true, scratch all of that. Mia has a rash, so she'll be fine. Moving on to Giselle. So Giselle goes out for ice cream with her and her daughters, and she tells her daughters that she had gone out on a date with Steve. And then we see a little tiny clip of her out with Steve. And the daughters are like, okay, yeah, whatever, because they know it's not serious. Giselle is not going to be serious about anybody. For whatever reason, it's just not going to happen. So the girls don't really care because this week it's Steve, next week it's John, the week after that it's Peter, it's whatever. And it's somebody from Summer House or Winter House or whatever the hell those shows are called. So it's somebody new every week. She's got a new flavor of the month. The girls didn't care. So then she tells her children about her upcoming surgery to get her fibroids removed. And at the end of the show, we find out that she did have her surgery and it was successful. Moving on from there, Candace. So now we are at Candace's video release party. So when Giselle arrives, Chris is sitting there, and she goes up to Chris and she greets him and she touches him on the arm. And I'm thinking to myself, Giselle, this whole entire season, you talked about how this man made you feel unsafe. You made him out to be like a predator, a monster, some sexual deviant, and you approach him, pat him on the arm and greet him. Why? If this is your abuser, your tormentor, why do you make an effort to go up to him and cordially greet him? You have no problem ignoring anybody else. You ignore Wendy, you ignore Karen, you have no problem ignoring people. But your tormentor, the one that you claim tried to trap you in an empty room to do horrible, unthinkable things to you, you walk up to him and you greet him and you touch his arm. Robyn is late. She eventually does arrive, but she was late showing up. She missed the whole entire damn video because she was at her sister-in-law's or her soon-to-be sister-in-law's bridal shower. Now, they showed the video. It was a great song, great video, very, very catchy. You can't help but be proud of Candace. I mean, it was really nice. Even her little parking lot video, that also was cute. Okay, that also was a bop. So I just want Candace to continue to grow and to continue to do well in her singing career, and I just want her I just wish her the best, and I want her her star to continue to rise higher and higher and higher when it comes to music. So in Giselle's confessional, they asked her about what she thought of Candace's video, and Giselle said she didn't even remember it. hater. Jealous hater. No wonder they call y'all the Green Eye Bandits, because y'all are just so green with envy. Moving on to Karen and Giselle. So we're still at the video release party. So Karen says, Karen is telling Giselle, you know, Mia called me and she gave me the rundown of what all y'all were saying about me at the strip club. And Giselle was like, well, did she tell you what she said about you? Did Mia tell you that she called you a prostitute? Your best friend Mia, your confident Mia, did she mention what she called you? So the faces that Karen made when Giselle said that Mia called her a prostitute, I mean, she made like about 7 to 8 different facial transformations. It was like hilarious. It was so funny. So obviously Mia didn't. She left that little tidbit out. So Mia comes up to them and Giselle says to Mia, well, did you tell Karen when you were telling her what everybody else was saying about her? Did you happen to mention to Karen what you said about her, that you called her a prostitute? And Mia was like, hold up. I did not call her a prostitute. I was just asking questions because I was hearing this, and that. And I was trying to put the pieces together. And I was just asking questions. I didn't call her a prostitute. So then Charisse comes over to confront Karen. And Karen, you know, turned her back to Charisse. These old ladies and how they go after each other is hilarious. She turns her back to Charisse and she's like, I'm not even going to acknowledge. She tells Charisse, why are you even here? Why are you even sucking up the air that I'm breathing? So then Mia and Karen have a conversation. Mia pulls Karen over to the side and she tells Karen, you know, I know somebody who owns a restaurant and they told me that their best friend is going around town saying that he's dating you. Karen denies it. Absolutely denies. I mean, Karen was just like, it was like attack on Karen night. I mean, everywhere she went, she was like, accusations were being thrown at her of what people are saying, what the streets are saying. I mean, it was just crazy. So, and then she's got Ray there. And, you know, when she didn't want Ray to overhear what they were talking about, she just sends him on his way. And the man actually left. I was like, man, any other husband would have been like, I ain't going nowhere. What the hell's going on here? What are y'all saying about my wife? But every time she told Ray, honey, go over there. Go busy yourself over there. He left. He did exactly as he was told. So I can totally believe her. I can totally believe Karen telling Ray to go drive her somewhere to go meet up with somebody. And Ray not asking a damn question, not questioning anything. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. Ray, get up. Can you drive me to such and such bar? And Ray's just like, okay, let's go. Moving on. So Karen denies the allegations that Mia threw at her about this person who's going around saying that he's dating her. You know, she says it's not true. And Karen says, well, consider the source of where it's coming from. I don't even acknowledge it. And Mia said it's not coming from Charisse. Okay, it's coming from someone that's got nothing to do with Charisse. Karen at this point has had enough of constantly defending herself. So she takes her man and she leaves. So Giselle says to Candace that she's ready to have a conversation with Chris because Candace had said in Mexico that Chris will want to have a conversation with her. So Giselle was like, okay, I'm here. I'm ready. Where's Chris? And Candace says, well, he does want to talk, but just not tonight, not at this moment. Then here comes Ashley. Where's Chris? I want to have a conversation with him. Candace once again says he's more than willing to talk to you, but just not tonight. Ashley was like, I'm grown. And then she makes a beeline to Chris. Okay, girl, you're grown, but that's that woman's husband. Okay, if the wife is telling you, my husband is not ready to have this conversation with you right now, best believe you need to abide by that. Well, she didn't. She goes straight up to Chris and wants to address the tweet that Chris had put out where he said blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end, he says, you'll be sorry. So I guess Ashley was feeling threatened by that. And it could mean anything, obviously. You'll be sorry could mean I'm going to get the best lawyers in town and sue the hell out of you. And you will be sorry because right now you're already struggling financially after your rich husband has left you. So yeah, you will be sorry once I'm done with you and all the money that you're going to be paying me. Maybe that's what he meant, girl. So Chris was like, of course I tweeted that because I have to defend myself. Y'all are out here running wild, running amok with all these accusations about me. Yes, I'm going to defend myself. And yes, you will be sorry, probably with the damn lawsuit. So Ashley goes, but your actions were a little bit questionable. And by this time, Chris had it. He was trying to be civil with her. She asked the question, he answered, but then she's going to start making these accusations all over again. So Chris was out. So Chris and Candace, they walk away. And Ashley turns around to the other girls and she's like, what did I say that was so wrong? Well, you're constantly accusing him of doing things. You're constantly accusing him of doing things that have been proven over and over and over that he did not do, because the cameras don't lie. He was not trying to ogle at your funny looking friend. He wasn't trying to do that. I don't want to get worked up, y'all, because it's just not worth it. This show just isn't worth it. So that was the end of that. The end of the season, end of the finale. So at the end, of course, who cares about the updates? The only thing that really mattered to me was that there was no prenuptial agreement for Robyn. So after going through this very difficult, awkward conversation with Juan about a prenup, they decided not to put the prenup, not to do a prenup, or to not put the infidelity clause. I don't know what they did, but the infidelity clause is definitely not there, either because they didn't do a prenup or they left it out. And they ended up getting married in Maryland instead of Jamaica. So on Watch What Happens Live, everybody's talking about what happened there. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, except that whatever lie that Juan gave to Robyn and that she wants to believe made no sense. This woman, you know, he ran into this woman who I guess knew him from television, I guess. I don't know. She used to date or was currently dating an NFL player that Ron also happened to know. Then later on, the woman calls Juan and says, I got stranded because I left my wallet somewhere else in another city, and I need to stay in a hotel and I have no money. And I'm like, okay, out of all the people you could have called, all the people that you could have called to help you out in this predicament, you call someone that you really don't even know, that you just ran into. You couldn't call any boyfriend, any husband, any best friend, any relative. There was absolute. So if Juan Dixon didn't exist, what would you have done that day? Slept outside? So Juan tells Robyn that he ended up paying for her hotel, and that's how his name came on the receipt. And Robyn tells Andy Cohen that she believes her husband. She believes him. And Andy Cohen was like, well, you do understand how other people could possibly doubt this story because it sounds very convoluted. And Robyn was like, yeah, but I choose to believe my husband. That's fine, girl. I mean, what are you going to do? She wants to believe her husband. In a situation like this, with someone like Robyn, something so blatant, so obvious occurred. She chooses to believe a lie. With people like Robyn, the only thing you can do is you can't tell them nothing anymore. There's no advice that you can give. There's nothing that you can tell them, because they made up their mind, because she's made the decision to marry this man. And so she's going to look idiotic if she doesn't go through with it. And I'm pretty sure Juan gave her the blues. I think that when the news came to her, I don't think Juan told her. I think she found out through the blogs or a third party. I guess she saw this woman talking about it, and so she had to address it with Juan. And she said, the whole thing about how he was bored during the pandemic, during quarantine. He was bored, had nothing to do. So this is because that's when the affair happened. And I'm calling it an affair because I think that's what it was. That's when the affair happened. It was during the quarantine. And when they were filming during quarantine or during that time, Juan was really mean to Robyn, and Robyn never wanted to get out of bed, and she was like in some type of a depression, and she blamed it on the quarantine when it really was on the fact that your husband is cheating on you. That's why she was acting the way she was acting. But then, she's going to lie and say, oh, it's because we were quarantined and we're all, on lockdown, and that's why I was depressed and couldn't take care of my kids and couldn't get out of bed and couldn't do anything, and I let my businesses go, because it didn't make any sense. Because there was a time when she was talking about how Macy's had reached out to her to sell her baseball caps, whatever the hell you call them. All these department stores were reaching out to her, and she wasn't reading her emails, and she wasn't doing anything because she was in a depression because her husband cheated on her. And she was probably thinking this news is going to blow up eventually, because I'm on a TV show. I can't trust that this other woman is going to keep it quiet. This news is going to end up being exposed at some point. That's why she was depressed. It had nothing to do with the lockdown. It had nothing to do. That's the only thing that would make sense of how she could be neglecting her life, neglecting her business, neglecting her kids. It had to be because her man was cheating, not because we were on lockdown. So she's telling Andy, yeah, I believe Juan. I choose to believe Juan. And all we can do is just sit back and say, okay, girl, that's fine. You know, do whatever makes you happy. If that's where your heart is leading you to do, then go ahead and do that. But let me say something, and I always say this in all of my reviews when I'm talking about couples who are going through strife. I always say this. When someone embarrasses you, and when I say embarrassing you, I'm talking about they treat you horribly and the whole world knows about it, right? It's exposed. They mistreat you, they cheat on you, whatever they do, and everybody knows about it. Everybody's talking about it. When you decide to stay with that person who humiliated you and disrespected you publicly, and you feel like, oh, they saw what I went through and they'll never do this again, trust and believe they will do it again. And they will do it 10 times worse than they did it before. And then people are going to be looking at you like a damn fool because it's like, girl, you've been down this road before. We tried to tell you. We tried to help you out, but you didn't want to listen to nobody. Now look at you now. Look at where you're at now. I'm about 90% sure that Juan is going to embarrass Robyn again, because right now everybody's talking about Robyn. How can Robyn do this? How can Robyn do that? Robyn's a liar. Robyn should be fired. And Juan is just sitting pretty. Ain't nobody saying anything about Juan. So Juan, in his mind, consciously or subconsciously, is going to think, oh, I got away with it. I did this, I did that. But Robyn is getting all the blame. No one's dragging me through the mud. Robyn's name is on everybody's lips, not Juan. So he's going to get the confidence, or he's going to get really relaxed, and it's going to happen all over again, because now, I mean, the vultures are out there. The vultures being the women who don't give a damn about you being married, who don't give a damn about, you know, who you are, what you're about. They just see, you know, a possibility, a potential in Juan, you know, doing something with Juan, knowing that Juan is, you know, he bit before. He went down that road before. You know, is he going to go down that road again? Is he going to bite again? And they're going to come in and they're going to do what they're going to do. And then they're going to try to, whatever they do, whatever motivates the vultures, whatever motivates them to go after married men, whether it's like, I'm going to blackmail you later, or this is just what I do, I need attention, whatever the situation is, they're not going to stop. They're going to be there. They're going to be there even more now, knowing that he is willing to step out on his woman. And someone had said, I forgot who, and I know many people have said this, whatever that he's done to you before you married him, he's going to continue to do after you marry him. And it's going to be even worse, because it's not just your homie embarrassing you, it's your damn husband embarrassing you. So we shall see. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.